My sister-in-law ordered lobster and expensive wine. I told the waiter. Separate checks. The reservation was for 12, not 12-ish, not 12 plus whoever was loitering in the driveway. Exactly 12. I checked the confirmation on my phone for the third time as I handed my keys to the valet. Luca's Italian Steakhouse. 6:30 p.m. Party of 12. I'm a logistics director for a national shipping company. My entire career revolves around capacity management. You can't fit a 50-foot container on a 40-foot chassis. You can't pour 10 liters into a 5-liter bucket. Physics doesn't negotiate, and neither do I. Tonight was my son Leo's 10th birthday. Double digits. A real milestone. I had planned this dinner like a military campaign. The guest list was exact. Me, my wife, Leo, his 3 best school friends, their parents, 3 couples, and my own parents. 12 seats. Private alcove. Appetizers pre-ordered to arrive at 6:45 sharp. I walked through the heavy mahogany doors, adjusting my cufflinks. I wanted everything perfect. Leo had been talking about the giant steak he was going to devour for weeks. I approached the host stand. Marco, the maitre d', looked up. I've known him for 5 years. He usually has the calm focus of a bomb technician. Tonight he looked like he'd just cut the wrong wire. Mr. Sterling, he said, voice tight. Happy birthday to Leo. But we have a situation. What situation? I asked, already scanning the dining room. Your party, Marco whispered, leaning closer. They arrived early. And there are significantly more of them than expected. A cold knot formed in my gut. Who arrived early? Your sister-in-law, Mrs. Brenda. She said she was handling the seating. I didn't need to hear anything else. I walked past the stand, turned the corner into the main dining room, and froze. My carefully reserved semi-private alcove, perfect for intimate conversation, now looked like a college dorm party gone wrong. The table for 12 was packed, but not with Leo's friends. At the head of the table, in the seat I'd reserved for the birthday boy, sat Brenda. Next to her, her husband Todd. Then their 3 teenagers. Filling the rest were Brenda's parents, my wife's in-laws, uninvited, her best friend Misty, and Misty's 2 wild toddlers currently hammering silverware on the fine china. 10 uninvited people. And standing awkwardly in the hallway like displaced travelers were the real guests, Leo's friend Sam and his parents, plus my mom and dad. I walked up to the table. Brenda saw me, threw her arms wide, knocking over a water glass, and shrieked, David! You're here. Surprise. We turned it into a real family thing. You can't turn 10 without the whole village, right? She waved grandly at the chaos. We got here early to hold the spot. I told that uptight guy up front we were the Sterling party. He tried to argue about the numbers, but I said just add some chairs. There wasn't space to slide in a napkin, let alone 10 more people. Brenda, I said, keeping my voice low and even, where is Leo supposed to sit? Oh, we'll figure it out, she said, waving me off as she reached for the bread. The kids can squeeze in a booth or something. Or the adults can stand and mingle. It's a party, Dave. Loosen up. Todd poured himself more wine. We ordered a few bottles to get started. I glanced at the label. Barolo. $140 a bottle. They'd already opened 3. Then I looked at Leo. He stood near the entrance clutching his new Lego set, staring at his aunt sitting in his birthday throne. He didn't look excited. He looked crushed. Sam's parents were glancing at their watches, clearly debating whether to bail for McDonald's. Get up, I said. The table fell silent. Even Misty's toddler paused mid-bang. Excuse me. Brenda laughed. A high, nervous sound. David, don't be rude. We're family. We drove 40 minutes. You weren't invited, I said. This reservation is for 12. 12 invited guests are waiting in the hallway. You're sitting in their places. You can't just kick us out, Brenda snapped, voice rising. That's humiliating. Just tell the waiter to push some tables together. We'll make one long table. The more the merrier. I turned to Marco, who had quietly appeared beside me. Can we combine tables? He shook his head regretfully. I'm sorry, Mr. Sterling. Saturday night. We're fully booked. I can't block the aisle. Capacity rules are strict. I looked back at Brenda. You heard him. Move. She crossed her arms, face hardening into that familiar entitled expression, the one she wore when she borrowed money she never repaid, or when a quick hour of babysitting turned into a full weekend. No, she said. We're seated. We've ordered. We're staying. If you want to be a terrible father and ruin Leo's birthday by causing a scene, that's on you. But I'm not moving my family. She picked up the menu. I think I'll have the lobster risotto. I stood there for 3 seconds, running the options like I do at work. Assess liability, evaluate leverage. Screaming equals I lose. Physical removal equals jail. Sending the real guests away equals ruined birthday plus damaged friendships. But there was a logistical pivot. I put a hand on Marco's shoulder and stepped aside with him. Marco, I said quietly, is the executive boardroom in the back still available? The one with the AV setup. His eyes brightened. Yes. It's empty. Very private. Quiet. Perfect. Move the real Sterling birthday party, the invited 12, to the executive room. Set it up for 12. Transfer the flowers, the cake, everything. I nodded toward Brenda's table. They seem comfortable. Leave them exactly where they are. Treat them as a separate party. Understood, Marco said. And the billing? I pulled out my Amex Platinum. This card covers only the party in the executive room. The 12 I invited. No one else. He glanced at the empty Barolo bottles. And table 4? Table 4 is an independent group. Walk-ins. Separate check. Decline any attempt to charge my card from that table. Marco gave a small, sharp smile. Very good, Mr. Sterling. I'll inform the server right away. I returned to the lobby, gathered Leo, my wife, my parents, and the other families. Change of plans, I said with my best comm host smile. There was a little mix-up with the main table, but Marco upgraded us to the private executive suite. Much more exclusive. Follow me. Leo's eyes lit up. A suite. Like a real suite. Exactly, I promised. We walked past the main dining room without entering. Down the side corridor, past the kitchen, into the quiet, wood-paneled sanctuary. As we passed the archway, Brenda spotted us. Where are you going? She half shouted, half rising. We found another table, I called back casually. You guys stay there. Enjoy. We'll catch up after dessert. Oh, great, she yelled, sitting down again. Order the calamari for the table. We love it. I watched her turn to the young waiter, Kevin, and jab at the menu, then pour another generous glass of Barolo. She thought she'd won. She thought she'd bullied me into expanding the party and footing the bill, like always. She thought the Bank of David was still open. I closed the heavy oak doors of the executive room. The restaurant noise disappeared. This is nice, Sam's dad said, looking around. Way better than the main floor. Nothing but the best for Leo, I replied. The dinner was perfect. Dedicated server. Kids laughing. Steaks cooked exactly right. I didn't think about Brenda once. I watched my son blow out his candles and focused on that. 2 hours later, as we finished espressos, Marco knocked softly and stepped in. He looked a little pale. Mr. Sterling, he said quietly. A word. I followed him into the hallway. The party at table 4 is ready to leave, he whispered. They asked to add the check to yours. And you told them? I informed them the Sterling party already settled their bill separately. Their table is an independent transaction. I waited. Mrs. Brenda, is causing a disturbance. She refuses to pay. She insists you invited her. I checked my watch. 9:15 p.m. Perfect timing for a lesson in accountability. I'll handle it. I walked back into the main dining room. The scene was a wreck. Plates stacked with half-eaten food, spilled wine soaking the cloth. Brenda was screaming at poor Kevin. "This is illegal," she yelled. "My brother-in-law is paying. He's in the back room. Go get him." "I'm right here," I said, stepping forward. Brenda spun around, face red, lipstick smudged. "David, what the hell is this?" "This waiter brought us a bill. $800. I glanced at the folder. Sounds about right. 3 bottles of Barolo, 10 entrees, appetizers, desserts. Inflation's rough. "Fix this," she demanded, pointing at my chest. "Put your card down. We're your guests." "You are not my guests," I said clearly, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "I invited 12 people. They're in the back. You brought 10 uninvited people, took over a reserved table, and ordered expensive items assuming I'd cover it because I'm a pushover." "We're family," Todd slurred, standing unsteadily. "Family asks," I said. "Parasites invade." "How dare you?" Brenda gasped. "I don't have $800, David," she said. "We can't pay this." "Then you shouldn't have ordered the tomahawk ribeye," I replied, nodding at the bone on Todd's plate. "Market price. Usually around $120. "I thought it was a set menu," Todd mumbled. "It was," I said. "For my guests. You weren't included." Brenda's eyes darted around. She saw the stares. The manager watching from the kitchen. Reality sinking in. "David, please," she whispered. "Not in front of the kids. Just pay it and I'll pay you back next week." I gave a short, dry laugh. "Brenda, you still owe me $300 for the bounce house from Leo's 5th birthday. $500 for the car repair last year. I have the spreadsheet if you'd like to review it." "I'm begging you," she said, tears starting. Real panic. "I can't help you," I told her. "My bill is settled. This is between you and the restaurant." I turned to Marco. "Was the service at this table acceptable?" "We did our best," he said. "Then add the mandatory 20% gratuity for large parties," I said. "Kevin earned it." I walked away. "David!" Brenda screamed behind me. "If you walk out that door, we're done. I'll never speak to you again." I paused, turned one last time. "Is that a promise?" I asked. "Can I get that in writing?" I returned to the executive room, gathered everyone, and we left quietly through the staff exit, so Leo wouldn't see his aunt arguing with the police, who did eventually arrive. The next morning my mother-in-law, who'd been at our table, mortified by her other daughter, filled me in. Brenda and Todd had no money. 3 maxed credit cards, a declined debit card. They spent an hour begging friends for Venmo transfers. Eventually Brenda left her driver's license and iPhone as collateral while Todd drove around hitting ATMs to scrape cash from overdraft. They were banned from Lucas for life. My phone exploded the next day, of course. Brenda's texts. "You're a monster. You humiliated us. Hope you feel good about yourself. Rich guy stepping on the poor." My reply. "I'm not rich because I step on the poor. I'm comfortable because I don't buy $140 wine when I have $40 in the bank." Brenda. "You ruined the family dynamic. Mom is crying." Me. "Mom is crying because she raised a daughter who thinks theft is a love language." I didn't block her. I wanted the receipts. Every text, every threat, every guilt trip, screenshotted and filed in a folder labeled, "Brenda, do not admit." My wife was shaken that night, staring at the ceiling. Did we go too far? Maybe we should have paid half. "No," I said, taking her hand. "If we paid half, they'd learn nothing. If we paid it all, they'd do it again at Christmas. We didn't do this to them. They sat in the chairs. They ordered the steak. They drank the wine. All I did was refuse to pick up the check. A week later I got an email from Lucas. From Marco. Mr. Sterling, thank you for your continued patronage. We apologize for the disturbance. Please accept this $200 gift certificate for your next visit. We have updated your file. Strictly no add-ons authorized. I forwarded it to my wife. Look, I said. Profit. Leo's birthday was saved. My credit card was clean. And for the first time in 10 years, the next family gathering is going to be very, very quiet. Sometimes the best gift you can give yourself is a firm boundary, especially when it only costs $800 to enforce it.